Hey, it's David Meerman Scott. I'm with Adrian Neylan. How are you?
Very well,
Hey,
David.
we've been driving
Very
around
well.
Sydney. It's been great fun.
Welcome to Sydney.
You've got a fantastic blog. I love it.
My pleasure, and I'm happy to have you as a reader.
You've been going for 6 years now, is that right?
Approaching the 6th year this coming December.
And what in the world got you started writing a blog about your adventures in a taxi cab?
Well, primarily a love of writing and words, but with the advent of automated publishing platforms, it just became so easy. I didn't need to be at the mercy of traditional publishers.
Yeah.
I can just go home after work and publish straight out of my bedroom.
Yeah, that's cool. And it seems like almost every night you post a blog post, and there's like interesting characters from the
Yep.
from the taxi. And
in the taxi world, there's a story every night, and you know, I don't have to look for them; they come to me. And with a little bit of creative working, I can turn them into a reasonable story.
they're great stories.
Thank you.
Yeah. Don't be too modest. they're really good.
I'm very fortunate. As for most bloggers, problem is finding content, but for me, I'm in a content-rich environment, and like I say, there's a story every night.
So I noticed, we talked about this a couple of minutes ago, but I noticed that you sometimes do direct quotes. Tell me, how do you memorize an actual direct quote? It's pretty intriguing.
That's right. I mean, when I'm quoting verbatim, I either take notes, or basically the essence of the quote stays with me. So as long as I impart that message, I can pretty much direct quote, or otherwise I'll paraphrase and just retain the basic elements of the encounter.
What makes a great story? I mean, what makes, how many, for example, how many passengers might you have in a typical evening?
Typical evening might be approximately 20 fares.
20 fares, and you end up writing about usually one. What makes that one stand out?
There's just something which piques my interest, and what motivates me mainly, David, is I love finding out why people do what they do.
Yeah.
And the more unusual, the more interesting, of course. And it might just be a remark or an observation, which, and because I have some years under my belt, will sort of tweak an experience of my own, and generally I can just fashion something interesting within 500 words from that. And quite often I don't even have to try. I mean, it just comes to me on a plate, and people write their own stories. Really, I'm just recording what I hear.
That's great. Last question is, a lot of the people I speak with would like to start a blog, but they're either fearful or they don't know if they have something to write about. What would you have any advice for someone who kind of wants to get into it but is a little reluctant?
Well, I mean, it's just so easy to do now, and if you have an interest in telling stories, just find in your local environment, if you find it interesting, invariably other people will find it interesting, and in time you'll build an instant readership, and they will critique it, hopefully in a kind way, and you'll just become better at it. And really, it's just, as long as you retain that interest in it, it's natural to you, you'll find it'll just take off from there.
Adrian, thanks so much. I'm going to back up to see what we look like here.